Hey guys, how's it going? So I'm out in the greenhouse with our 1 week old baby girl. She's sleeping away in her stroller right now, and I just thought it would be fun to come out here, touch base with you guys because it's funny. I mean, I see so many messages from you guys about how our videos have become a part of your daily routine, your daily life, but you guys have become a part of ours as well. So it feels weird to be not posting videos even just for a week. And we don't intend on going full bore into video schedule right away, but it's such a beautiful day out here. I thought we could go check on our seedlings, so I will keep this semi-garden related. But I just thought it would be fun to update you guys on what life is like for us or how it has been for the last week or so. First of all, let's have a little peek. She's all bundled up in here. There she is, sweet baby girl. Oh, all toasty and warm. We do have a little bit of background noise going on as well. I'm not sure that you're even going to be able to hear it, but there's a lot of backing up beeping sounds because they are putting in a new house in the subdivision again. At least it's not right along our fence line this time, so we get a little bit of a break. But so yeah, we had Samantha Grace just 1 week ago this morning. It has been a beautiful week. It really, really has been. Honestly, like, I'm not even sure what prompted us to have another baby after we had Benjamin, because he was so hard. He was such a hard baby. Like, we didn't get a full night of sleep for 10 months. He would only give us like 20-minute naps. He would sleep for 15-20 minutes. He'd get up, want to eat like a tiny little bit, and then he'd sleep for 15 minutes. And so we felt like we could never really get anything done. There always had to be somebody like monitoring him. I mean, there's always somebody monitoring her as well. We're right there. But she'll sleep for like 3 or 4 hours at a time, which is like unreal to us. I feel like a new person right now. Before I had her, I was dealing with such bad insomnia. And you know that like nervous leg feeling? I don't know if you guys know what I mean, but like you feel like your nerves and your muscles are just running amok. It felt like that in my entire body when I would try to relax. So at night it was particularly bad. I felt like I needed to get up and run laps around our property just to like burn off some of that energy. So it was incredibly hard to sleep. I was averaging about 2 hours every night. I mean, maybe there was an occasional like 3 to 4 hour night of sleep, and it was starting to really wear me down toward the end. And she was big, and I knew she was big. Everybody else was like, nah, she's not going to be a super big baby. Like, she'll be 8.5 pounds or something like that. And I thought, nope, 9'2". She's going to be 9'2", and she ended up being 9'14". So I was packing around an almost 10-pound baby, and I could tell a huge difference. Benjamin was much smaller. So I had her via C-section because that's how I had Benjamin, and that's the way our hospital does things here. And which I was actually happy about. I had an amazing experience the first time. It was amazing. The recovery was awesome. The hospital staff was awesome. It was just an all-around good experience. So I thought if I could just do that again, that would be great. It was harder this time around. There was a lot more pain this time, but I mean, we're only a week out and I'm already feeling like getting out and doing like little things. Like, I'm not lifting anything and all that sort of thing. I don't think I can for about 6 weeks lift anything really heavier than she is. And so Aaron is like, he's following me around, like, don't do that, don't lift that jug of water, don't do, you know. So there's a really strong support system around me that's kind of watching out for what I'm doing, and I don't intend on pushing it too hard. It's kind of a perfect time of year though, because all I'm really focused on is, you know, starting seeds, doing little house plant things, like nothing major, no digging or anything like that's going on yet. So I did have to stay in the hospital for 2 nights, and because of COVID, of course, it was just Aaron and I. We couldn't have, they ended up letting my mom come in the second night because they were incredibly busy. Like the first night I was there, they had a gal come in who was 32 weeks along and she was seizing, and they had to do an emergency C-section. They had 2 other ladies show up to have their babies, plus there was 4 of us already there with babies. So they were spread really thin, and it was looking like it was going to happen another night in a row, and we really wanted Aaron to be with Benjamin so that his routine wasn't all messed up. So my mom got to come in for several hours that night, which was really, really nice. But yeah, 2 days and 2 nights in the hospital, which I don't do very well with. It's like almost a traumatic experience for me to be away from home. I'm such a homebody. So I was super, super happy to be home on Wednesday. So we had her Monday morning, and I was home Wednesday morning by like 10:30. And then my mom, bless her heart, she took off the entire week from work. She stayed with us that entire week. So when Aaron was at the hospital with me, my mom was with Benjamin, and she would just like they went on all kinds of little fun outings. She kept him distracted, played with him. She was cleaning, so she did a bunch of cleaning, a bunch of laundry. And then when we were home, like she was just constantly bringing me ice waters, cooking all of our food. She did stay one night, but we ended up, like, she's so easy, Samantha Grace is, that she didn't end up having to stay any of the other nights. She just came for the days, which was really, really nice for her too, I think. And yesterday was Sunday, and so that was the first full day that we had at home alone with no extra help. And I have to say it went so beautifully because of how easy she has been, that I just felt like this kind of weight lifted, because I was just expecting, I had no idea. I thought it was just going to be like another experience like we had with Benjamin. I didn't realize that babies could be like kind of low maintenance in a way. Like, I'm sleeping so much more. I get up once in the night, Aaron gets up once in the night, and that's it. And I'm actually sleeping all the rest of the hours of the night. And she's right next to me in a bassinet. Like, I have one of those that comes right up to my side of the bed, so I can just lay on my pillow and I can see her and make sure everything's okay. It's just been a beautiful time. So the plan right now is just to kind of continue on working on projects around the house, start seeds like per my calendar. I have my calendar all lined up so I know when to start all my seeds, and so I can tackle those things as they come up, and I'll share all that stuff with you. And just to kind of go about life a little bit slower this really early, like late winter, early spring, because this late spring, it's going to hit the fan. We have a lot of stuff going on. We have trees that are going to be removed. We have the gazebo, which is going away. We have the greenhouse, which is going in. New grass up front. The cut flower garden is moving. I mean, there's just so many exciting things going on. And I know that this may not last. This wonderful, beautiful sleeping phase may not last. But you know, we look back on that first year with Benjamin, we look back at pictures and at things we accomplished, and we wonder, like, how did we do it? But you just do, right? Like, life just happens, and you do what you can do, you get what you can get done. And somehow it just all works out. So anyway, we just so appreciate all of your guys' support and comments, and just like bearing with us as I share a bunch of baby pictures and pictures from around the house. It's just such an exciting time, and we do try to keep things as garden related as possible here on this channel, but I know that we've come to know each other quite a bit more than that, which is really, really special to me. So it just makes the time so much more exciting. Okay, so now let's head into the studio. I want to show you the seeds that I started, I think maybe a week or 10 days before she was born. They're looking really good for the most part. All right, so we're out in the studio now. We did a quick hat swap for baby girl. It's so hard keeping hats on little ones. Oh my goodness, but everything is looking really great in here. So let me give you a little mini tour, and then we're gonna take each tray out and address some specific things. Okay, so first off, I've got an oscillating fan running, which makes our seedlings a little stronger. I could have turned it on a little bit sooner, but you can see how it just kind of blows them around, and it makes their little stems a lot stronger. So we've got the sweet basil plant that I potted up in a video. Man, I can't remember how long ago that was. Maybe we can toss a date up on the screen. But then in our herb tray here, which I do need to water, it's been since yesterday morning that I watered. I knew that I would find some suffering a little bit. But I've got dill here on the left, a little bit leggy, but looking still pretty good. Then we've got parsley, looking great. Some Genovese basil, which always looks amazing. Look at that. That's beautiful. And then the next row is thyme. Then we've got lemon balm, which is starting to take on the lemon balm look there. Look at those leaves. Back corner, we've got Greek oregano, and then sage. You're doing great, baby girl over here. Hi, sweetheart. Is your hat coming off again? You look very cozy. Yeah, sweet baby. And then these are the other trays that I have started, 6.5 total. I went ahead and took the domes off prior to the tour. I had a dome on this one on the left. This is the Magic Fountains Delphinium. I will leave that off today because most of the tray has germinated at this point. I think there are 4 cells that have not come up yet. We'll take a closer look in a minute. Then we've got ornamental kale, crane white, crane pink, and crane red, looking amazing. And these are going to be going out to the cold frame here pretty quick to grow on, so that their color is nice. Then we've got green globe artichokes, which honestly, not great germination. Not that I need this many artichoke plants, but I thought it would be a good opportunity today to show you like how I take one cell that's got 2 nice ones and remove one and pot it into a cell where there isn't one. That way I can, you know, not waste seedlings and have a fuller tray. And then we've got 2 trays of Lysianthus, which also had domes on them. And I'm going to put the domes back on because they're not very big. But if you take a close look here, see? We've got germination, and I think every single cell. Lysianthus is the slowest growing thing ever, but one of the most worth it flower crops. They're amazing in the cut flower garden. So this tray looks to be a little slower. This one is the Roseanne Deep Brown, I think, and this is the Dublini White. And then in the bottom row here, I've got the Proven Winners tomato and basil seeds that I started not long ago in the pots that are supposed to disintegrate. And they're like fully compostable. So anyway, kind of exciting. So we've got the Patio Sunshine tomato back here in the back, looking great. Then we've got the Bellini tomato and Pesto Besto. And then I've got a whole tray of pansy seeds that I seeded. Now, if that is the only seedling I get, I'm gonna be really disappointed. I swear, every time I plant pansies on purpose, they don't do anything. But they self-seed themselves outside just fine. So, I don't know. This was kind of an experiment anyway. I won't be too sad if these don't come to fruition here. Okay, so I've moved the pack and play back here. And she's pretty peaceful in there right now, for the most part. She makes lots of grunting noises. Oh, I can't tell you how thankful I am to have a heated studio at this point. But this is going to be our little workspace right here. So I've got my spray bottle, I've got my little shovel, which will help us transplant seedlings, my Felcos, and a pair of scissors. So let's bring up the first tray. Work on this basil first. It does need a good watering here. I haven't been out since yesterday morning, so I was expecting to find some things suffering. Looks pretty good given that fact. And then I'm just gonna pinch off any leaves that look kind of subpar. So anything that looks kind of yellowed. And I can take this inside and use it, actually. Uh-oh, I kind of overwatered, dang. Of course. Okay, there's a few more leaves on this side. And then I'm gonna just use my Felcos here and just pinch the tops out. So see how I just take one of the leaves here? Hopefully you can see that pretty close up. And I'm just gonna follow it down and just pinch it. Oh, I'm gonna pinch this one right here. I'm left with a set of 2 leaves right here, and it'll form another couple of branches right there. So check this one out right here. We've got a really strong branch. We've got the top going out right here, and this is where it would eventually grow out and bloom. So I'm going to take it down to about this set of leaves right here. Just pinch it off there, and you can already see where it's starting to form a new set. Uh-oh. Hey, baby. That's a new smell, isn't it? That's basil. Okay, that's pretty much all I need to do with the basil plant. And then I'm just left with all this yummy goodness I can take into the kitchen. All right, so I think I want to handle this leggy dill first. I'm just going to prune it a little bit, cutting off some of the upward leaves. Therefore, like you can see in this one right here, hopefully you can see that growth coming out there. So if I trim off some of the upper stuff to encourage more lower growth, it should encourage more bushiness toward the bottom. So like on this one right here, I'll cut out that leaf and this one there to where I've got more bushy growth. We'll see what happens. I don't typically start dill inside. This is kind of an experimental thing. It'll look a heck of a lot better though here in a second, maybe. All of these little trimmings just smell so good. Okay, parsley looks pretty good. And I think I was gonna thin them out, but I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm just gonna leave them. There's just 1 in this cell right here. And then there's 2 in this cell, 2 in that one, 2 in that one. I think I'll leave them for a little while. And the basil, let's see, this cell right here has 3. So I'm just gonna snip out the center one here. Like that. And we'll let these grow on a little bit more, and then eventually I'll snip out an extra one so that there's just 1 left in each cell, and I'll utilize everything that I cut out of here in the kitchen. Now for this next row, this row of thyme here, you can see that 3 of the cells came up, but 1 of them did not. So what I'm gonna do is I wanna find a nice strong seedling like right here. See how there's 2 in here? And then I use this little trowel I got from, well, Gardener Supply. So it's a tiny little thing, and I love it for stuff like this. So I'm going to create a well in the empty cell first, and then I'm going to come in and gently dig out the seedling. Like that. And then I just pop it into this cell right here that's already prepared. Lightly tamp the soil down. I'm going to move some of the soil back over to fill this hole here. And so I didn't disrupt that one, and I was able to utilize this one. So I'm going to go ahead and water this one in right away. Settle that soil in. And then in these other cells, I'm going to go ahead and leave just 2. So it looks like that one had 3. And this one had 3 as well. All right, lemon balm next. I think I'm just gonna leave 1 in each one of these cells. And then we've got Greek oregano, which is coming up super thick. Apparently was very heavy-handed with this. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pull out several of the seedlings here. I did not aim very well in this little spot. So I think what I'll do is take this one out. Pop this one over here. There. Okay, so I'm just going to leave 3 in that cell right there. And then the sage, I'm just going to leave 1. So this is the stage when I typically start fertilizing my seedlings. They've obviously put on a little bit of growth. They at least have their first set of true leaves, if not several set of leaves. And I don't do a full strength fertilizer for a while yet. I'll do half strength. This is what I'm using right here. So I'm just basically going to put a tiny bit in my spray bottle right here. When I fertilize, I still water from overhead, either with this or my watering can. But I'm also going to be putting this seed tray on top of its self-watering reservoir today. Typically, I let my seeds get up a bit, at least germinate, before I start filling up that water reservoir. But now after today, I'll have them fertilized, I'll have that water reservoir filled, and they'll be pretty low maintenance after this point. Okay, so we'll see if I can do this without making a huge mess. I'm gonna make sure to shake this. When you're using an organic, a lot of times it's got some solid-ish stuff that wants to float down to the bottom. So I'm gonna make sure the suspension is proper. And that's probably plenty for now. All right. Let's give them all a good watering here. So now all the watering I will have to do is just filling this reservoir back up. So essentially how it works, you can see the capillary mat right there is up on a platform, and the rest of the water is underneath. And the capillary mat goes down into the water, and it wicks up the moisture and sends it across the whole mat. And then this seed tray, the soil underneath, well, from underneath this tray, it'll suck the moisture up, and it really does a good job of keeping them really hydrated. So it eliminates the need to overhead water like for days. It's amazing. And I think I'll be putting those self-watering trays underneath a few more, at least the delphiniums, the kale, and the artichokes. But now I want to get a couple more of these trays up here, and we'll quickly go through what else I need to do with those today. Okay, so let's address these artichokes first. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cells did not germinate. So I'm going to separate some of these that have 2 in them, like this one here, this one, there's a couple right here, and we're going to spread them out so that hopefully we have more of a complete tray. I don't think we'll have a total complete tray though, because 1, 2, 3, 4, I think we'll still have 4 cells that will be empty. Artichokes are done. Now one could, instead of putting 2 seeds so close to each other, One could plant them a little bit further apart in each cell so that they were easier to separate, but I just don't organize like that. So this is how I do it. It works out pretty good. I do notice that there's one germinating right underneath this one. I don't know if we can see that, but it's right there. So I'll be able to separate that one out. And so that's pretty good. I mean, artichoke plants get huge. I started these from seed last year, and I actually got an artichoke out of one of them. And I think our winter has been mild enough to where those two that ended up in the garden might even come back. I also started some green globe artichokes in the winter sowing method using the water jugs as well. So it'll be fun to kind of compare growth rates and the way the plants look, etc. Those of course aren't up yet because it's still too cold. Now with this ornamental kale right here, this is the type that produces like a long stem and a rosette, like a small cabbage rosette. Very, very pretty in containers. Very pretty for cut arrangements. It's just one of the biggest reasons that I'm growing it. For like, I think they might be too late to use for Easter. But you never know, we might get some warmer weather and they might grow a little bit quicker. But I think they'll be really pretty for April and beginning of May flower arrangements. I am not gonna thin these. I think I'm gonna let them come up in bouquets. Because I can bump them up in pot size and such. And that's how they come at the garden center. When you get the crane series of cabbage in a container, it's usually 3 together in the same pot. So I'm going to kind of follow suit. So today I'm just going to be fertilizing them and then filling their reservoir. And some of these cells don't even have 3 in them. So like this one does, 1, 2, 3. This one has 2. This one has 2, it looks like. But they all look awesome. These do require colder temperatures to color up and form really nicely. So it looks like we're gonna have some really nice days in the next week. Like it's supposed to be high 40s and no freezing temperatures in like 2 days, I think. So I thought it would be a perfect time to get them out into the cold frame where they can, it won't be freezing, it'll be chilly, but it's usually 20 degrees or so warmer in there than it is outside. So I think it'll be a perfect place for these to go. I might even take them up to the front sun porch for the next 2 days to kind of harden them and get them ready for the cold frame, because the sun porch, I do keep a heater on. It keeps it fairly warmish, but not as warm as in here. And then the delphinium's a little harder to see because of the vermiculite, but it looks like I only have 4 cells, 1, 2, 3, 4, that did not come up. There is one coming up, and that cell is just small. So I'm going to do the same thing. There are some cells that have 2 or 3, so I'm just going to pop them into these cells so that we have a full tray. And these are just tiny. All right, full tray. So now I'm going to put these back under the grow light and fill all their reservoirs. Okay, so these next 4 trays are pretty straightforward. These right here I will fertilize, which I have just enough water left with the fertilizer in it in my spray bottle to do that for just these 6 pots. I will probably come through, I need to grab a couple more pots, but I'll probably come through and separate these out so that I can have, you know, all the tomato plants. I mean, I don't usually get attached to my seedlings. I could just snip them out, but I'm really excited because these are new varieties to me and I'm really excited to try them. So anyway, I'm going to fertilize them today, and then these next ones I will fill my spray bottle back up with just plain water, because even though we have germinated seeds here in the Lisianthus trays, which you probably can't even see from here, it doesn't look like it anyway in the camera, they don't have their first set of true leaves yet. So I'm just going to water them normally. I'm going to leave the trays dry. Lisianthus typically don't like to be super wet, but once they're up and growing a little bit, they do like to be watered from underneath. So this will be perfect for later on. And then my sorry excuse for a pansy tray, I don't even know what to say about that one. Like, do I water the whole thing? Are the seeds even gonna come up? Am I just being impatient? Because that one seems to have grown a distance. Like, it's kind of biggish compared to nothing in the rest of these. I'll probably water it in, put the dome on, and just give it another week or so. And that is it for today's project. Pretty light duty stuff, but very exciting. It's exciting to see some new fresh growth out here, to see some activity, to be out here with my baby girl. Gardening is just like so awesome. And Benjamin loves to help too. So I think we're gonna have both of them just kind of under tow this year and just enjoying life. So anyway, I hope you guys are all doing really well. We should have some other fun little projects coming up to show you guys here pretty quick. So anyway, thank you so much for watching this video, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.